Well, hello there, Central Texas. We are back with another season of the B.A.D podcast. Now, I have to admit, we've been gone for a very long time, but that's okay. I know we're going to cover a lot of great news today. Today's episode, I want to give every episode like a theme now, like a name. And the one we're going to talk about, the name I'm going to call this today is Love, Lies, and Lethal Consequences. Now, I got my girl Dana here with me to talk about it. You know, Dana and we're talkers. I always tell Dana works behind the scenes, but I feel like she should be in front of the camera because she's a talker. She talks to me about everything. She watches all the reality TV shows. Dana's a girl's girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
you,
Thank you. Tell your friends and family.
I,
All right.
I will,
Tell,
Dana.
tell the people here, actually. Thank you. Tell the people here.
Yes,
Go
Dana.
ahead.
Dana keeps up with pop culture,
Yep.
and I really, really love that. So, love, lies, and lethal consequences. We're gonna talk about some heavy stuff today, but I think a lot of what we're talking about is relatable to people in Central Texas and just people all over. So first we're going to start off. We got two hot topics today. I'm going to tell you what that is before we dive into it. The first one, we're going to talk about Meg the Stallion and Clay Thompson. Now, Dana, you had to have been living under a rock if you have not heard about them. So while we cannot relate, some of us can't relate to Meg the Stallion and Clay Thompson. They're rich, they're celebrities, something we may never be. But what we can relate to is breakups and love and lies. You know, everybody deals with that at some point in their lives. And then we're gonna take it a little bit more deeper. We're gonna talk about the lethal consequences. There is a high-profile murder trial going on in our area, in the Central Texas area, Coppers Cove, more specifically, where a young woman was killed by her husband, who was a former soldier. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's get into it with Meg the Stallion and Clay Thompson. So if you didn't know, Meg the Stallion, a superstar rapper, broke up with her basketball player boyfriend, Clay Thompson. Don't kill me, okay? Because I knew more about Meg the Stallion than I did Clay Thompson. And I heard that Clay Thompson is all that and a bag of chips. I just didn't know. I didn't even know what team he played for. But I know now. So here's a big thing. They broke up. They were dating for like a year. They started dating in 2025, summer of 2025, maybe something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dana.
I'm gonna say yes, maybe like very late summer, early fall, just because I remember that she or him, someone posted a photo of them on the beach, and or like a resort or a villa, and like she looked amazing with like her big natural hair, and she was wearing a swimsuit, and it was just sun and trees.
I
Like, it
remember
just
that
looked
picture.
so good. So that's why I think you're right. Somewhere in the summer,
Yes.
late summer, or very, very, very early fall, like August.
Yes.
So yeah. So it's
Okay.
been almost
Almost a year.
yeah.
They did not
Yeah.
make it to a year, ladies and gentlemen. So they broke up. Meg the Stallion, it went viral. She posted on her Instagram stories, and she said that they broke up basically. And I'm gonna just kind of read to you what she said. So she says, "I've made the decision to end my relationship with Clay. Trust, fidelity, and respect are non-negotiable for me in a relationship, and when those values are compromised, there's no real path forward. I'm taking this time to prioritize myself and move ahead with peace and clarity." Then she goes on to say, "Cheating had me around your whole family playing house, got cold feet, holding you down through all your horrible mood swings and treatment towards me during your basketball season. So now you don't know if you can be monogamous." And she put a bunch of question marks. Like, you don't know now? So I don't know. Maybe he told her, like, "Ugh, I can't be with one woman." But yeah, there it is. So she posted that. It went super viral. Now, a lot of people were like, why she post that and tell all their business? But I feel like when you have a public relationship like that, you gotta tell we broke up because he cheated. That's what she's basically saying. But the thing, Dana, that got me that I do want to talk about is it's the family part. If you know I'm not the woman for you and I'm not going to be around like forever or a very long time, don't bring me around your mama. Don't bring me around your aunties. And now I'm thinking that I got this in because I'm with your family.
Yep.
So I don't know. What you think about that?
I low down dirty Shane. That's all I gotta say. And that was the part that got me because around Thanksgiving, it was well known.
Mhm.
She went to TikTok. She had posted because I follow her. She was one of the first people I follow on TikTok. Okay, I was like, I need to keep up with my girl, and she had posted everything she made for his family, and she throws down in the kitchen.
Yeah, she
Okay,
does.
she takes cooking like it's one of her hobbies. Like she
Uh-huh.
really enjoys it. And I think to me cooking is an intimate thing. You don't
Mhm.
just cook for anybody. And I
Right.
think you really have to like the person, the people, the situation
Yeah.
to want to cook for someone. To me,
Mhm.
like me and my family, we cook all the time. Like it is
It's
definitely
like
like a love
it's how you
language.
bond. Yeah,
Yes,
your
it's how
love
you
language.
bond. And like
Mhm.
yesterday, like we had a potluck at work.
Yeah.
I came into work yesterday. Jasmine said, "Look, I'm only give you one compliment
Yeah.
ever. Casserole was good.
It
Thank
was
you."
good, Dana.
And
I
it's
ain't gonna
just
lie.
like you want to share that with the people that A, you spend a lot of your time with,
Yeah.
or B, people you just really like.
Absolutely.
And Thanksgiving is such a big holiday, and for him to bring her around his family and knowing that she doesn't have much of a family and that
Mhm.
she's going to obviously latch on as anybody else would, for you just to
Mhm.
cut it off and not give her any say,
Yes.
you want to have the power. And to
Mhm.
me, he's not right in any way. Like
Mhm.
doesn't matter. And there's speculation if she cheated first, if he cheated first. I feel like even if that, knowing everything that preceded that situation should have been taken into account. Like
Oh, for
it
sure.
is being in an adult relationship and just talking things through.
Absolutely. I wonder, and it's not a family member's fault, but I wonder, did his family know or what do they know? Because one thing I hate too, because I've had relationships where I've been around the family,
Yeah.
I've gotten in good with the family, and they are loving on me, buying me Christmas gifts, and and then you find out, like one girl told me, she told me that my boyfriend's aunt didn't like me. I was like, girl, please, that woman buys me Christmas gifts. What you talking about? I'm always at her house. I babysit her daughter. What do you mean? And she said that. And I was a little upset. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Don't sit up here and use
Mhm.
me. And
Mhm.
if you know, because this was like towards the end of me and my boyfriend's relationship, we were breaking up. But sometimes the family, like, don't have me in your face
Yeah.
at your house and you're loving on me and
Yeah.
you're doing all this stuff and you know deep down inside
Yeah.
he don't like her. He getting
Yeah.
ready to dump her.
Yeah.
I don't like that. So I wonder how much did Clay's family know, or maybe they just
Yeah.
don't get into his relationships. I don't know how many women he's ever brought home
Yeah.
to his parents.
Yeah.
But another thing, Dana, like people were, I don't know if you've heard this, they were kind of giving Meg the Stallion some heat because they were like, why you say that on social media? Why'd you tell the world? Why couldn't you just say me and Clay broke up? End of story. Just period. There were some men who were saying, well, Clay is a bigger star than Megan, and well, maybe they weren't a good fit because Megan is a little more out there. She's a little more loud where
Yeah.
Clay's more reserved
Yeah.
and laid back. So they were like, maybe she wasn't the girl for him.
Yeah. I mean, I feel as though I'm not gonna get on those men saying them claiming that he is a bigger star than her. I I personally don't feel like that. I think she is a global phenomenon,
Mhm.
and you have to be a basketball fan to know him.
Yeah, that's true.
But everyone who knows music and likes music knows of her, and they
Mhm.
are familiar with her work. I do agree that she is a very hyper. And when I say feminine, I just mean feminine in the way that she talks about women in her songs.
Mm.
Her songs appeal to women. And I do ask some of the guys here, like, oh, like, have you listened? They're like, that's not really like my vibe. Like, she's
Right.
really like talking about women. But then on the flip side, I do listen to rap and I listen to guys talk about having sex with women
Mhm.
or, like very like vulgar things they do with women.
Right.
So I feel like, okay, well, your argument falls flat because
Mhm.
if I can, I'm not saying that you should, but I just don't think it kind of lines up.
Right.
Now, with the social media part, like we were talking, she is such a, everything about her is so public and is public. Sometimes she has a say if it's public, and sometimes she doesn't have a say.
Yeah.
So this is going to get out either way. And I agree that I think if I was her, I would have said something.
You want to take control of it.
Yes, I'm going to take control of it. I'm not going to spin the narrative, but it's the fact that something that I didn't want happened. Like I didn't want to break up with him,
Mhm.
but he broke up. Like the relationship ended. So
Yeah.
now I'm gonna set the record straight. And why am I? What do I have to lie about?
Right.
And I think it's been public knowledge that he's cheated on several of his other girlfriends.
Oh,
So
really?
this is a pattern with
Ooh.
him, and many can't be shocked.
Well, okay, so that leads me to I wonder did Megan know because ladies, I'm gonna
Hmm.
just give you
Oh,
word of advice.
yeah,
What he does to her, he will do to you.
exactly,
So do not think that
exactly.
because if you get with him,
Yep,
he won't hurt you or cheat on you because you
yeah,
special.
yeah.
I'm that girl. He
Hmm.
ain't gonna do that to me.
Yep.
Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
So
Every
always
single
keep
time.
that in mind. I'm not saying you can't date the man, marry the man,
Yeah.
but just keep that in the back of your
Have a
mind.
guard up.
Have a
Protect
guard up.
yourself. You
Mhm.
come first in every aspect. In no way is
Absolutely.
that man more important than your feelings and how you're treated. You should always be looking out for yourself. And I'm not
Absolutely.
saying that she didn't look out for herself, but it's when you find someone who can make you feel like you can let your guard down and be in your feminine, you want to trust that you are
Mhm.
being guarded and protected. And she wasn't. And so
Yeah.
now she's going to keep moving through life even more guarded. And we don't want people to be like that. We want them to feel safe and feel okay. And
Right.
now she can't,
Right.
unfortunately. Yet she does have her fans, but that only goes so far. You
Mhm.
need people in your personal life to help you and support you and,
Right.
but I whatever.
I,
Like I said, kneecaps on my table. That's all I gotta say. I'm getting the Etsy witch, and that man will never know peace moving
All right, so this next topic we're going to talk about, it's a little heavy. It's a little deeper. It's a little more NBC Dateline if you watch that show. So there is a murder trial that's happening right now. One of our reporters, Sydney, she has been covering this, doing a very good job on this case. So there's a woman named Destiney Cannon. So back in 2022, I
forward.
want to
Yeah.
say, Destiney Cannon was killed by her husband Kevin Frazier. So Kevin Frazier is on trial right now in Coryell County. So back in 2022, I was transitioning. I was a MMJ, a reporter, getting ready to start the Texas Today, as an anchor, getting ready to start. So this is one of the last news stories that I covered as a reporter. So I do remember it was just this beautiful woman. She was 33 years old, very popular in the community. She had her own boutique called High Diddy Boutique, and I just kept seeing posts on social media like, "Oh my gosh, rest in peace, Destiny," all this stuff. And so I'm like, "What is this?" So I went and chased the story. So come to find out, Destiny was in the process of trying to leave her husband Kevin. She wanted to get a divorce, and that came out later in court. That actually the day she was going to file for divorce, he ended up killing her in her home in Coppers Cove. So immediately I get to working the story and talk to her daughter. She was a mother of six and a grandmother of one. So I talked to her daughter.
Well, I will say, according to the notes, a mother of five, but the
Five. The
grandmother,
grandbaby
grandmother
made
of one.
six
Yeah,
because she
yeah.
was helping to raise
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes. Yeah.
grandchild. So mother of five.
Mm-hmm.
Correction. Thank you, Dana. That's
Of
why you
course.
are here.
Of course. Of course.
So I've covered it from that angle, just being out there. I do remember going out to her house when the murder happened, and there was a lot of her family members out there, and her daughter and things like that. Very, very sad situation um going on. So that's where I stopped covering the case, when it happened out there on the scene. So now let's fast forward to 2026. That's like 4 years later. And reporter Sydney is covering this trial right now. It's going to wrap up at the end of this week, hopefully. So Dana, I'm so glad you are in here because Dana, you have been helping Sydney with this case, just kind of taking notes on the case, and helping her out, putting her reports together,
Mm-hmm.
so everything line up and makes sense, and she's in the courtroom working so fast. But this is something that I really wanted to talk about because we have been seeing, like, on a national level, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of women being killed by their husband. Now, let me just say this, this is still a murder trial. Kevin Frazier has not been found guilty yet.
Mhm.
So let me just go back and say Kevin is accused of killing his wife, Destiny.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot going on with this case. So I was reading Sydney's notes and just hearing everything that's going on. There was a detective in a different case, and he said that one of the most dangerous times for a woman um, is when she is getting ready to file for
Mhm.
divorce, especially if her husband has been abusive.
Yep.
When she is ready to leave him and to let him go, that is probably one of the most dangerous times for her.
Yep.
So I don't know, Dana. Tell me what you think about this case. I know you've been helping with the notes and all that stuff, but it's just a lot to unpack.
Yeah. Like it is different, yeah, when you see it on Dateline or Law and Order, like just
Hmm.
not when it is so like prevalent like within the community.
Right.
It's just a different feeling. Like
Hmm.
it is something in the air. I will say last year, um, we covered several stories. About murder suicides with
Hmm.
husbands and wives, and I mean we will never know the true what led up to it or what was the cause of those, but they were like very tragic and they happened like back to back to back, so
Hmm.
it is something that's no matter if it's on a small scale like here or a big scale, you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean, like the I know you want to speak about it, but the Fairfax former
Attorney
yeah, attorney
Attorney
general
General in the state
or
of
lieutenant
Virginia.
governor.
Lieutenant Governor.
Yes,
Yes.
that was his
Yes.
position.
In Virginia.
Yes,
Correct.
so like him, and that happened what a week, maybe a week and a half before the
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't know, his name is Justin Fairfax. He was former lieutenant governor of Virginia, and he and his wife were separated at the time, but he still lived at home with her and their two children. And on April 17th, 16th, maybe just the night before, is when he shot and killed his wife and himself. The
Hmm.
children, unfortunately, were at home when it happened. And it's just another case because
Yeah.
they were in the middle of a divorce technically,
Hmm.
like they were, you know, it like things were just lining up for a divorce to,
To happen.
in that process.
Hmm.
And this was the same way, but this case, I mean, all of them, no case is the same and no case is simple. They're all very
Hmm.
complex.
Hmm.
And this one, like you said, heavy, is hard. It was a
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
stuff that went into this one.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I definitely know in the Fairfax case, they were still living together,
Mhm.
even though they were getting a divorce.
Mhm.
In this particular case, I believe the same thing.
Yeah.
The couple, Destiny and Kevin, they were still living together. Now, one thing, it did come out in court, and Sydney wrote some good notes about this. Destiny was kind of so Kevin was a former soldier. I think he served about 10 years in the United States Army, at least according to the notes from court. And, he somehow, met Destiny, a local business owner. It also came up that she was the breadwinner in the
Mhm.
family and that, she was on the up and up,
Yeah. Yeah. I would say so for sure.
with her business.
Mhm.
So
And she was a nurse as well.
and she was
So,
a nurse. So I always wonder, like, I wonder, is it this a case of, and we don't know, maybe some things will come out in court. Is this a case of was Destiny outgrowing Kevin,
mhm. Yeah.
and was Kevin feeling left behind
Yeah.
or less than a man? I don't know. That's just maybe what I'm speculating when I'm like reading some of the notes and what they were saying about Destiny and how she was just like a hustler basically.
Yes.
If that's what you want to call
Yes.
it. She was a hustler and she was always, working to get ahead and to get money and to take care of those five kids and that granddaughter
Yeah.
that she had or grandchild that she had. So I'm wondering if that's a case because a lot of times some men may feel like who does she think she is because I think before when they first met he was kind of taking care of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that is, at least that's the testimony in, like, and that's what we gather from the notes in the testimony from her friend and her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I totally agree. Like, we are not saying that this is a reason why, but speculation from what is being said
Uh-huh.
about the relationship is that, yes,
Yeah.
at the beginning he did support them, and then obviously being a nurse, once you just keep working, you just
Mm-hmm.
keep making
Mm-hmm.
more money, and you start feeling more secure and more
Yeah.
confident. And
Yeah.
then she had her business, and then the business was expanding. She said that she wanted to open up a business in Dallas.
Yeah.
So that was the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And she was working with another woman who was witness to a lot of this at the end, right before she died, like all the way leading up to it.
Yeah.
So they worked very closely together. So she truly understood it more, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
than, like, just like the kids, just as
Mm-hmm.
much as the kids. Like,
Absolutely.
was a test, like, it's just insane. Like,
Yeah.
the whole case is insane.
I know. I
And
know.
I, like, ugh,
It's sad. She was only 33 years old.
yes.
That's very young.
Yeah.
You know, to die and to leave all these kids around.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, throughout the relationship, it was reported in trial. Well, you know, someone was testifying in trial that Kevin was getting a little more aggressive. So, in 2021, it was reported that there was an altercation involving Kevin Frazier and Destiny Carey's pregnant daughter. So this was Destiny Carey's daughter, so it would have been Kevin's stepdaughter. And the pregnant daughter was allegedly hit in the stomach and had to be taken to the hospital. So he was getting violent not only with her, but with the kids.
Yeah.
And so just red flags kind of all around when you
Yeah.
think about this relationship. I do know one of the things when I was out there, you know, trying to work the scene when she was first killed, there was a neighbor who I spoke to off camera. You know, a lot of times people don't want to be involved. And you know, you beg them for a news interview, and they don't want to. But he was a man. He said, I'm a retired soldier, and there's a lot of noise that comes from that house. That's what this particular neighbor had told me that day. And he said there's a lot of noise that comes from that house. He said, you know, we're all homeowners here, and you know, we're trying to figure out a way to make this stop. You know, because there was a lot of fighting and arguing coming from that house. So, knowing that she got killed that day, he just thought it was just the saddest thing ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the violence just started to escalate, and unfortunately, we have a mother who is no longer here with her children and her grandchild. So that case is happening right now. We do expect to get a verdict towards the end of the week, you know, or maybe early next week or something like that. I would definitely love to come back and talk about this a little bit more when the trial is over, and maybe have Sydney come in and speak to us about this,
That would
because
be great.
this is something that a lot of women always need to hear about. You know, you have to pay attention to those signs and to those red flags.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So really praying and wishing Destiny's family and her children well in all of this. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for the Bad Podcast today. I'm happy to be back in here, Dana, in the podcast room.
Yes.
We're gonna be bringing a lot of good heat for y'all.
Yeah.
So remember, pay attention to those red flags. And my mom always told me this. I'm gonna go back to the Meg the Stallion really fast before we say goodbye. My mom told me this when I was a young girl, sitting on my bed. She said, "When you think your man is cheating on you, he probably is, because a woman's intuition is very strong, and it's a small chance that we're wrong, but oftentimes we're not wrong. Woman intuition is really strong.
Yep.
So pay attention to those signs, ladies, and if he cheat, don't take him back. Or if you do,
be a man's worst nightmare. That's what I'm gonna say.
If you take him back, do it quietly. So just handle that behind closed doors. Don't tell anybody. Handle it behind closed doors if you're gonna take them back. But if you're gonna put it out there in the public, don't take them back. All right, that's all we have for the Bad Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, join us on the next one.